Greetings, my friends of Herb by Card. This is actually take 3. My cell phone likes to run out of data even when I don't have any videos on it. Hopefully it should be solved for now. I deleted a bunch of stuff I don't use, so hopefully it will work. I don't mind usually my big camera, but then I can't see, and lots of times I get everything off. At least this I know when I can see. So let's start with Camellia. Take 3, and I hope it works this time. Okay, see, I'm even discombobulated a little bit. Let me tell you, there was an intense day today, and it's not over yet. Announcement later. Look for an announcement for the weekend. Alrighty? Because I'm going to need your help. Where am I? We're at Temperance. Sorry about that. I don't edit. That's why I'm listed as comedy. So, Camellia, sinensis, temperance. Trust the magic of presence. See the sacred and simple. Create new magic from what is familiar. An old Japanese teapot painted with blue flowers sits on a bamboo tray. 3 full cups reveal the chartreuse color of the steaming tea near a wooden bowl filled with dried leaves. A vibrant branch of the tea plant, Camellia, drapes across the center. Its leaves are waxy and deep green. The flowers are bright white with a rich yellow center. Focus on the present moment. Hallelujah. Focus on the present moment brings balance to opposing forces. Give every task before you the gift of your full attention. Stillness reveals the middle way. The tea ceremony is an act of mindfulness. The tea plant is rich in antioxidants and strengthens the heart. Preparing a pot of tea with intention cultivates harmony and promotes well-being. The ritual becomes the holy alchemy that affects change. There is magic in the mundane. Ordinary tea bags stop minor bleeding, soothe sunburns, and reduces eye inflammation. Camellia is the oldest, most widely used botanical in history. Let ancient practices inspire fresh ideas. Crafting with temperance. Display a single camellia bud in a small vase. Carefully observe it and discover a new detail each day. Create a simple ceremony for peace around your daily cup of tea. Learn to make kombucha. Experiment with unique flavors and share with friends. Kombucha can really bring some happy times, let me tell you. It's a fermented beverage, and I'm sure you're all familiar with that. But green tea can be grown as an ornamental, or a tea, or a Camellia sinensis. There's a lot of varieties, so that people do in certain zones do grow the tea plant. I've never really heard of it in the Northeast where I am, but I almost think it may be possible. Anyway, let's go on to tea and its medicinal properties. So I found a really good person online that does her homework. So when you're looking for information online, if they do not cite their references, you probably don't want to take what they're saying for granted, for seriously. So before I tell you that, there is what we call a Materiamedica, which is a medicinal uses of plants. And as herbalists, what we should do is build our own libraries and build our own Materiamedica. And you can also do a magical medica, which you can list all the magical properties of the plant, especially if you're into witchcraft, along with herbalism, which a lot of herbalists are, because it's all about following the seasons. Even if they're not like delve into it wholeheartedly, they're still aware of the uses, spiritual or magical uses for the plants. I like to think of it spiritual. So Materiamedica is also what they used to call physician's death reference, or PDR, and I used to have one, and I think it's still floating around somewhere. I got it back when I was studying therapeutic herbalism, and I got to see if I can find that, because it is a great reference, because it lists every herb in there. It's called a PDR. You should be able to look those up online, at least for purchase. If you're very serious about herbs, I would recommend getting a PDR, or getting a PDF of a PDR. Yeah, that's why I call it comedy. Okay, so Amanda Kellner is Kellner. Natural Herbal Living is the name of her website. And if my laptop will let me edit, I will put the link in for her website. But anyways, Natural Herbal Living, I'll put that at least in written form. So she has a really great Materiamedica, and really lists are really great. And I'll read some of this to you. Tea has been drunk in China and other parts of Asia for over 5,000 years, and is one of the 50 fundamentalist herbs in traditional Chinese medicine. It is also frequently used in the tradition of India called Ayurvedic medicine. And if I had my druthers and the bucks, I would do Ayurvedic study in a heartbeat. Tea is an herb with many reported health benefits, but recent green tea extracts have brought itself onto the market with its high caffeine content and other additives that have caused the government to question the safety of the herb. And you can put that in plural too. As always, the bastardization of a traditional herb by corporations causes a lot of stress and heartache, both literally and figuratively, to those of us who use the whole herb as it is traditionally intended. And that goes into the essential oils, because there is a high concentrate. That's not using the whole herb. So she brings up a great point. Although misuse of natural remedies are not uncommon, it breaks my heart to see a beautiful tradition, drink, and plant medicine vilified because of the exploitation of corporations and people. Using medicines to escape reality, or to inappropriately use these plants in a way that makes them addictive, like chocolate, tobacco, poppy, coffee, and tea. And marijuana, I would add, is unfortunately, and essential oils, I would add, is unfortunately a big problem of our time. In China, you will find hundreds of variations of tea, which can be crudely broken down into three larger groups: green tea, black tea, oolong, red tea, Green tea is made from steamed and dried leaves. Black tea is made from completely fermented tea leaves that are then dried, and oolong tea is partially fermented and dried. Green tea is the highest in antioxidants and the most well-studied for health benefits, although black and oolong have similar benefits, but generally aren't as potent. The most common complaints about the daily use of tea is the caffeine, which can cause chronic stress, adrenal fatigue, giddiness, high blood pressure, headaches, and addiction. Although caffeine content of brew varies based on the way the leaf was processed and the length of brewing, green tea is lower in caffeine than both black tea and coffee, making it relatively a safer option and a great way to wean off the higher caffeine content of coffee. An 8-ounce cup of green tea averages 20 to 45 milligrams of caffeine. Black tea averages 50 milligrams, and coffee 95 milligrams per 8-ounce cup. I myself will drink herbal teas or decaffeinated teas, which is not, but usually I stick to herbal teas so I don't have to worry about the caffeine, and my coffee is decaf because of the stimulants. My dad would literally end up in the hospital if he drank caffeinated coffee. It would really mess with his heart biorhythms. Botanical name, Camellia sinensis, origin Asia. Energetics, cool, drying, astringent, sweet, bitter. Green tea is cooling, black tea is warming. So energetics have to do with taste. I believe if you go back in some of my previous videos, I talked about taste. The actions are analgesic, anti-diarrhea, anti-emetic, anti-inflammatory, and carcinogenic. Anti-carcinogenic, antiviral, appetite suppressant, astringent, cardiac stimulant. See, cardiac stimulant, it was too much for my dad's heart to have caffeine. Diuretic, hypoprotective, neuroprotective, and stimulant. The constituents, that means most of its chemical makeup. Amino acid, theanine, caffeine, catechine, polyphenols, epicologic catechins, glarate, oxalates, fluoride, and tannin. Tannin is good thing to, and the oxalates are like acids, so they're acidic. And then using dye. So tea makes a really great dye, and that's why, because the oxalates and the tannin. So I'm not going to read the rest of this verbatim. I encourage you to look it up, and if I can get the link in there, I will. It's full of antioxidants. It's a digestive. It's anti-cancer. It's good for headaches, especially TCM headaches. Breathing. She states here, I will read this to you. I find when I have an asthmatic attack or trouble breathing from bronchitis, a nice strong cup of tea every 30 minutes until symptoms subside helps me breathe easier, deeper, and generally opens my airways. Coffee works best for this, but when coffee isn't available, strong tea is quite useful. I believe it is a combination of steam and the caffeine opening airways. No studies, as far as I know, have done this effect. So that is written by Amanda Kleiner. I want to repeat that again. I want to cite her for her work. The Natural Herbal Living is her website. I believe this is really great. And then she goes into being practical. And she writes, Not a lot of these studies have been done on animals or on humans taking high doses, 5 to 10 cups of green tea. Remember, if you take a high dose of an herb for a long period of time, you're likely to see side effects, no matter how wonderful that herb is for you. And she is so correct on this. I always caution moderation and do so. Here, 1 to 3 cups of tea are great for health purposes, but if you are sensitive to caffeine or addicted to it, this might not be the right herb for you. Tea is a crop that is grown with a lot of pesticides, and this is why it's so important to buy organic tea. And she has an article that she links to it here. She usually purchases through Mountain Rose, which I recommend, especially if you're on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast, so it costs a gargantuan amount for them to ship to me. So I use Frontier, which is located in Iowa, and so the shipping is not as bad. And sometimes and Frontier you can get through Amazon, and they're organic also. And then, of course, she, like anything, cautions and side effects, especially with the caffeine if you have sensitivities. So if you like this video series, please give it a thumbs up. And I will have some news this weekend. It's going to be hotter than Jesus. It's going to be Louisiana. Thanks, Joyce, my friend in Louisiana. I really appreciate you sending us the humid weather. Not. Remember to check out my website, wildscolorcauldron.com. Make sure you use the www. And if you're really enjoying the series and you appreciate me being an herbalist, please make a donation through my PayPal. It will be greatly appreciated. And remember, many blessings, and remember to be wild and get out there and enjoy the wild side of life.